Hey,
Hi, how are you?
good. I like your background. It's super perfect and witchy.
Oh, thank you.
I love it. I'm just so you know, I'm at a cafe right now and it's like they're working on it. So of course drilling and sawing stuff. So if it gets too loud, I might just mute myself while you're talking. Or
Okay.
just we'll just have to like wait it out. But it's not too bad. It's just, it's here and there.
Okay,
How are
that's
you? It's good to
fine.
meet you, like
It's good to
kind
meet you
of
too.
online.
I'm doing well.
Um, it's lovely to meet you, like kind of in person or like at least face to face
Yeah.
slightly. So we're here today to talk about mainly your Hecate practice, but I do want to know a little bit about your personal practice too, because you're based in Florida. Is that right?
Unfortunately, yeah.
I hear you now.
You were frozen.
No, you were frozen.
I was frozen.
Yeah.
Let me
I thought you
switch
were
to
just
my.
listening.
No, I was like, I can't. You're frozen. One second. Let me switch my camera real quick. Hold on,
Okay,
because I don't know if it's my camera or like what the problem is.
all good. I have to redo my lipstick anyway.
Okay, come on. Not nearly as pretty as I want it to be, but whatever. Fuck off. That's what it's gonna have to be.
First, I just want to like get you talking. So give us a rundown of like who you are, what your craft looks like, when you started practicing. Just, give me the bullet points of Justin.
My name is Justin Bennett. I've been practicing witchcraft for probably 10 or 15 years. And I started off really eclectic, hoodoo inspired. And that led me to working with saints and a lot of like Christian influences in my practice. But through a lot of grief and trauma, that kind of led me to Hecate. And so right now I am fully devoted to her. My practice is centered on her and is really I would say focused on becoming my most authentic self.
How long have you been working with Hecate? Or like when did she appear?
Exclusively like 2 years,
Okay.
but I loosely started working with her maybe 5 years ago.
Okay. Nice. And then how long did you say you've been practicing for?
I started practicing wholeheartedly and maybe I would say 2010.
Oh, okay. So you got a few years under your belt.
Yeah, a few
Plus.
years under my belt.
Okay, you said that you started working with Hecate. It led you to her through a lot of grief and trauma. One of my questions was, did you have an initiation? And that kind of answered that. Um, but I don't know if you like were comfortable talking about parts of that or any of that.
Yeah, I mean, I was really resistant to becoming a devotee of any deity because I
Mm.
kind of was in this I was in this place where I didn't want to be subservient to any deity because I had grown up in like a Christian cult and I was like, I'm not answering to anybody. Nobody's gonna tell me what the fuck to do. I just didn't want to be subservient to a deity and I really through spell work, through ritual, a lot of actual prayer with Hecate, I felt like she was really guiding me in a positive place because I've always struggled with the acceptance of death. Death has always been a scary thing for me. And I've always had this internalized homophobia. And I tried to always separate myself from my queerness. And a lot of those things I felt like she was helping me do. And I also realized that I was continuing to re-traumatize myself by putting myself in environments that I was uncomfortable with. Like I was trying to
Mm.
force people to like me or force myself to believe something that I felt was detrimental to me. And that's how I just decided to say fuck it and I just fully embraced her.
I love that. I'm similar, and I think I'm starting to be like a little more okay with it. But I completely relate to you where for a very long time I was like, I'm not gonna be a devotee of fucking nobody, like, but it's so hard to come out of that Christian mindset, that Christian like trauma mindset of like you are a servant, whereas like that's not really, I mean, at least in my experience with the deities and the spirits that I have worked with, like that's not really the case. And especially not with Hecate, like she is not over here sending you out to do her bidding, right? Or to like get you to pull more people into like devoting themselves to her. It's more of like she is trying to give you the knowledge and give you the power to become almost like as close as you can to her, which I think is like that's what a true teacher is, in my opinion. Um, I think a true teacher is, somebody who works to make sure that one day their students don't need them. Um, and that actually changed a lot for me because when uh, I don't know if you know Jason Miller's Sorcery of Hecate course. So
Hmm.
have you taken it?
So I actually talked about him on occultish behavior, and we've been in communication. I think I'm taking it in October, so I'm very excited. I'm
I'll
very,
be in
very
it with
excited.
you.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Because I like so like I'll go on and off. Like I'll take the course and I'll do the things and then sometimes I'll be like, thanks, Hecate. Like I'll be over there. And then I'll like stop for a little bit, but I'll still be like listening to the Q&As because sometimes people ask some great questions. But anyway, that was the course that actually changed DD work for me. Because like a lot of other DD work you see, it's I'm not gonna say it's like Christianity repackaged because it's not. It's just there's so many parallels that like I was just like not for me, you know? Um,
Yes.
and the way that people interact with them, it's similar, where they're like, "Oh, bring it to your altar, bring it to your deity," and it's like that's like bring it to church, pray about it, and I'm like,
I'm so glad you said that because I feel the same way. And it's so I feel like we have this knee-jerk reaction when we leave these like Judeo-Christian environments where whether we're conscious of it or not, we place that dogma in the same context of deity, like regardless of who it is, and it's just not beneficial to us, and we don't have to live in that space. I mean, if you want to, that's okay, but I also think we sometimes have this grandiose idea about deity, and we expect them to hate us or be raining down terror if we don't fulfill certain aspects of what we feel like we need to do. And I just think we have to release ourselves from that. And I tell people all the time, like, Hecate knows way more than I do, but she's not better than me. I still sit in that space. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a collaboration, and I respect her. I'm a devotee of her. I am at this altar every day. I do have a daily practice, and I'm religious in nature. But um I don't view her in the same way as I viewed like Jesus or God, but I also don't have like a congregation indoctrinating me to feel like I'm unworthy of everything.
100% agree with everything you said, and I think still I'm still kind of like I don't know, like I don't like to be like I'm a devotee of anything, but I'm starting to feel a little more comfortable because of that course. And so I'm really curious what you think of that course. I'm so excited to like chat with you about it as you go through it. So please like just text me anytime about like whatever you're experiencing. Like I would love to know. Uh, but yeah, that's awesome. So okay, that was something that was helpful for me. What's some of the resources that have helped you practice with Hecate or like strengthen your bond with her?
Okay, so maybe controversial, but I will say, okay, well, before I answer that, I'll say I've noticed three things in the like Hecate community, if you want to say. There's three groups of people. One is the general lexicon that uses and invokes her name, but there's never like any depth to it. She's just like the queen of witches, liminality, blase, blase, right? And then there's the second group of people that I found that are completely committed to her in antiquity and feel like she has to exist only in this framework, and anything outside of that is incorrect, cultural appropriation, like all the things. And then there's a third group of people who allow themselves to experience things more freely, have personal gnosis like Jason Miller and others, but do so behind a paywall, understandably, because I feel like in the Hecate space, personal gnosis can be a very tricky thing and how people want to respond to it. Because for me, when I approached Hecate, I kind of just went balls to the wall and just was like, I'm just going to do my own thing and see how I feel, let that guide me. I mean, there are books that I enjoy and things like that, but I feel more guided by myself. And that may be the wrong answer to say. But like I feel like I know what I need and I want to experience that for myself. What I will say is really gratifying is having an experience and then finding out that there's references to that in antiquity is gratifying.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I like that you categorized the three as well, because I think that could be said with really any practice, any spirit, like
Yeah,
there's very much, even like La Santa Muerte, like there's a lot of, I
that's
venerate
another
her,
one.
but like
Yes.
I don't, you know, I don't know, like I have a very interesting relationship with her, so I don't really like talk about it a lot
Hmm.
because people frame it in that way. And I even have stated, and like I'm very hesitant to talk about any practice that I have that revolves around a well-known spirit of any kind
Hmm.
because of like what you stated for one of those categories of, and I was like, oh, I'm working with Hekate because I'm in this course. Everybody gave her all of the credit for everything. And I was like, I didn't even call upon her for these things. Like that shit was me. And then you're over here being like, Hecate did that. I'm like, girl, that's the same thing in the Christianity thing of like, oh,
Yes.
praise God for that. And it's like God didn't do shit for that. I did
Right.
that. I worked hard for that. I learned that. Whereas there's other times when like, you do rituals and you do ask her for help and she does open those roads. She does give you those opportunities. She does give you the resources, whatever. But like it was that of like she's just the queen of witches. She can do anything, da 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 da. And it's like this very surface level thing of like, well,
Yes.
I'm a devotee of Hecate, so I'm one of her children, so like she'll do anything for me. And it's like that's not how that works though. Like
No.
and I think that's why I dislike her being like a motherly figure because the way that people
Yeah.
phrase it, yeah, you're like, the way that people phrase that is like she's motherly, as in she's like coddling the way that they describe it. Where I'm like,
Yeah.
she's motherly, but she's like mean mommy. She's like, I care about you. I want you to learn this, but get the fuck up. I don't know what you're doing crying on the floor. Like it's
Yes.
that.
Yes.
So it is interesting to hear like those separate things of like people who have devoted, or like has gone through the initiation and have worked with her. And even how you were like, I just do whatever works for me, but like, she guides you. She
Yes.
tells you what she needs from you.
Yes. And the thing is, like the mother, like I don't see her as a mother personally, but if, like people do that. I mean, that's great. Who am I
Same.
to say? What do I know? I'm just some bitch with a camera. You know what I'm saying?
Same.
But I also, if you want to say that everything you do is everything positive that happens is because of Hecate, I don't know if that's your gnosis and you want to go with that, that's fine. If you feel like everything terrible is happening is because of Hecate, that's fine too. I just, I feel like in this space, just in the umbrella term of being pagan or spiritual, we have the opportunity to release ourselves from that if we choose to. And I personally don't care to subscribe to those kinds of dogmas anymore. Otherwise, I would have just stayed where I was at.
Bless. Yeah. Um, do you have like, I don't know, like creators that that you like their information or books or articles or anything like that that you would recommend to people that are like wanting to start a practice with Hecate?
So, I mean, I know a little bit about Jack Grayle's Hecate, which I think is interesting. I made a list of some book recommendations, but I mean, Sarita Diastes, I think she's good. Like my favorite Hecate book is by Courtney Weber. I just really enjoy that book. I just really encourage people to explore on their own. And one of the reasons I started talking about Hecate on my channel and like making that my main focus is because of the three categories of people I talked about. I don't really hear anybody sharing a lot of personal gnosis that I have found. I mean, maybe they're out there, but it is a lot of regurgitated information about antiquity. And that's great. Like history has its place. I'm not dogging it. But like, let's explore something else. So, I mean, I don't have a lot of creators that I watch that talk about Hecate because I don't feel like there are a lot that are really willing to share their own gnosis, unfortunately.
There's not. And I mean, I'm one of them. Like I'm so gatekeepy about my own practice because it's like
And you
I
should
have so
be.
many, yeah, but it's hard though too because like you said, there there needs to be people who are willing to share because there has to be some kind of like foundation of like where do I even begin? Where do I even start? So it's kind of hard to go back and forth of like what do you share, what do you don't, what's important, what's not. And like sometimes I'm like, you know what, that's important to share, but not. it's not from me. I'm not the one, you
Yeah.
know? Um, so you said like, experiment on your own, figure it out on your own type of thing, or like not like figure it out on your own, but like, try it out on
Yes.
your own. Um, what kind of things would you suggest like getting started, like setting up an altar? What would the altar look like? Like what kind of things would you
So
say
for me,
like
I
here's a
started off
basis?
very easy. I just had a little, okay. Saint,
Oh,
that's Saint Expedite's altar. I don't know what he's pissed about, but he's mad about something. Okay, pop off king. Anyways, so I started off really easy. I just had a little altar. I bought a statue. I came up with a sigil and lit candles. And that's really just how I started. And I just started talking to her like a crazy person because I feel like if I think what's important when you're speaking to deity or just spirit in general is trying to let go of ego or let the mask fall a little bit. And I have found when I talk out loud to myself that I'm able to do that. And I think I'm more receptive to deity and spirit. I don't know if you have that experience or not, but that's really how I started. And then doing guided meditations, a lot of dream incubation. I find that's like my favorite form of communication with her, whether that's, blessing a key, putting it under the pillow, using some psychic oil, and just asking her to come to me, show me messages. That's always a trippy experience. Um, I found like some of the iconography and things I just didn't resonate with. So I was like, I just want to explore this and see what I feel, what I experience, and then I'll put that up against what other people say. And if they kind of align, then I know I'm like in the wheelhouse of where I should be.
that makes sense. I mean, that's kind of how like any practice goes, right? Like I think people overcomplicated in their heads of like, oh, I have to have X, Y, and Z, or I have to like know how to do this. I have to hear spirits. And it's like in reality, you can take the key, dress it, and then just ask out loud, like, show me what you think I need to see the most, Hecate, in my dreams. Put it on your pillow. Like just being
Yes,
so straightforward about it. Like it doesn't need to be cryptic. It doesn't need to be poetic. It's just like, show me the shit in the dreams. Thank you. Put it under the pillow and go to sleep. And it's like, maybe you'll get something, maybe you won't. You just
maybe you
keep
won't.
trying.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I started reading The Golden Dawn because I was like, I want to, add some more ceremonial elements into this. And then I was like, that's too much. Not my path. Like, that's great. Nothing wrong. Yeah, do your thing. But I wanted to like, I kind of was feeling that way. Like, okay, I want some structure. Maybe I can try to implement different aspects into this Hecate focus shit show I got going on over here, but it didn't feel natural to me. And that's, when I was in the cult as a child, it never felt natural to me. It always felt contrived. And so for me in my own personal practice, if I feel it flows, my life's not falling apart, then I think I'm doing great.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. And I think that's like one of the biggest things that is so hard to teach people, even though like that's
Mhm.
what it is like if it feels natural to you, it's probably right.
Agreed.
And even if you don't fully understand it yet, like there's so many parts of my practice that I still don't understand, but I'm at this point, I'm just like, I'm just gonna trust it. I do this thing, I don't even know why, but like
Hmm.
I get it. And then there's times like I've had charms that I'm like, I have no idea what this charm is for, but like I'm keeping it because I know that I need to. And then later, like all of a sudden it'll just be like, click, okay, now I'm gonna tell you what I need, like, what this charm is used for. And I'm like, oh, okay, it took you 5 years, but great, like I don't know what it is, but
Hey,
sometimes
I
that's
had
just
a
how it
similar
is.
experience to that because I have these little like fox bones and a raccoon penis bone, and I've had them in a bag, and I was like, I don't know what I want to do with them. And a couple of weeks ago, I was like, where are those bones at? And I just was like, I don't know. I just felt like I knew what I needed to do with them. So, I did what I needed to do, and I was like, okay, I feel great about that. It it really is like just intuitive. And I don't know necessarily how to teach that or how to explain it other than I just kind of follow my intuition. I just do what I feel like I need to do.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is like reframing it. For me, it helped of like instead of being like follow your intuition, listen to your intuition, it's stop doubting yourself. Like instead of like
Yeah.
go this way, it's like okay, well stop blocking yourself in the first place and then you can go, because like I would just be sitting there doing the meditations, trying to commune with the spirit, right? And then all of a sudden I'd be like, oh, well, I'm getting this weird like thought of maybe I should use it for this. And I'm like, but I'm probably just, making that up. And it's like, okay, even if I am, I'm going to take a note of it and then maybe I'll try it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't, you know? And like, it's just stop blocking yourself. Stop being like,
Yes.
that's just my head. And it's like, maybe it is, maybe it's not. But the only way to find that out is to like note it, try it, see if it works, you
I
know?
I had the same experience. I used to be so terrible at, well, feeling like what I was experiencing was valid because every time I just thought, okay, well, I'm just making this shit up. Like I'm just making it up. It's just in my head. It's just a random thought. And I've had friends tell me, but if you are, who, like, why do you care? Just go with it. Just allow yourself the freedom. Just validate it and see what happens. And you're 100% right. When you just allow yourself to trust the process, it comes more naturally. Like you can't expect things to happen if you keep the door closed. You know what I mean? Goddess of the thresholds, open the doors, keys unlocked. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the process. That's what it is. But we're not taught in like society and culture to allow spirituality and deity to communicate freely. Like it's very much a contrived world, and we're taught that from a very young age, and it permeates all aspects of our life, whether we're raised in a cult or in Christianity or not. Like it is a part of our world, and we just, have to acknowledge that.
To kind of wrap things up so we can go over to Patreon and have them ask their questions for you. What things Sorry, it's one of the loudest cities in the world. So, uh, um, what are some of the key things that you've learned while working with Hecate?
That death is not something to be feared. I was really fearful of death, and my son died a few years ago, and that's really like what kicked all of this off. And through that process, also realizing through her guidance that if I'm going to deny myself pleasure, happiness, and deny who I am, I'm never going to like feel any semblance of happiness. And so my queerness, accepting who I am and understanding that we only have one life to live. Like mortality was always a big issue for me. I mean, I was always scared of the rapture. Very, relevant to right now. And those are some of the things she taught me to respect death, honor death, that we are in a cyclical cycle, and I am powerful. Um, I also truly believe through my own gnosis that she is the goddess of queer people. I think she's the matron deity of queer people because we exist in a liminal space. And I'm just going to look at it being literal. Okay. Sue me. And so that's some of the things that I've learned from her. And I feel empowered by her through her guidance. Like, I don't know that she's necessarily teaching me everything about anything I didn't know about. Like, she's showing me revelations within myself that I knew I just was kind of too scared to accept. And through that, I've found sovereignty and power. I'm still devoted.
I really love that. And because I feel like if you look at a lot of deities who are of death and also of liminal space, it's so much of the work that those practitioners do and are good at or become good at is acceptance and is like a lot of like inner work of acceptance,
Yes.
as well as letting go and just like going with the flow of things, like a lot of those practitioners seem happier because they're not so attached to like, oh, I thought I was this person or I thought life was supposed to be like they're very okay with letting things move on,
Go. Yeah.
and they're also okay with grieving. Like I think a big issue, at least just me as a death witch on the line, online, on the line, says old man Graves. Um, so I think a lot of people glamorize death practices as like, oh, I'm so edgy or like, very cool, like
Yes.
I'm so chill with death type of thing. But like I also think we gloss over the grief part. And it's like if you're grieving about literally anything, it's spoken about online as if it's just something that you just go through and then you get over. And it's like that's
And
not
it's
ever how it
over.
is.
Right.
Like grief is the initiation, which like sounds not to like romanticize it, but that's how it feels of like this is now your thing to hold.
Do
But
I?
I said I might have to just close this one out for here. What I think I'm gonna do. Can you hear me okay?
You're very muffled right now.
Okay. So I didn't get to finish my thought on grief and all of that, my whole ramble, because a band started playing right behind me on the street. So but that was kind of probably a good time to just stop and um take you over to Patreon so that they can ask you their questions. And I'll end the YouTube version here. So everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you want to find Justin, all of the links are down below. Is there anything that you want to plug or anything like that, Justin?
I mean, my channel is The Witch of Enchantment. You can follow me on YouTube or Instagram. And then I also do a podcast called Occultish Behavior, The Unholy Hour with Ivy Corvus. Listen at your own risk.
Bless. It's a great one. So everybody, I highly recommend it. But yeah, listen at your own risk for sure. I think um definitely not for somebody who's looking for uh what is it? Non-controversial takes, lukewarm takes.
Yes, yes, that's a nice way
Yeah,
to put
yeah, but I
it.
like I like it. Thanks for hanging out though. So I will see you in the next one. Bye.